It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a weekly podcast where we talk about everything that's great. Like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Brian.
And this week, Marvel delays almost all of their movies going forward. At least two of the three that we know about. Brian, we'll figure out what this means here in a little bit. Along the way, Peacemaker reveals an eagle hunter for season 2, which is going to be our first topic off the bat, which is going to be really fun to talk about. Madam Web merch shows it was almost set in the MCU. I knew they were threatening us with that movie the entire time, and thank God we missed the bullet on that one, and more. Brian, so this week we have guest host Brian. Brian, thank you for joining us today on Memorial Day, your holiday, a day that most people are not in America, not at work. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So we're pretty excited about today's show. Brian, I was going to tell you, I know we're just going to talk to usual what we watched on the show. Last night I watched Lilo and Stitch. Have you heard anything about this movie yet?
So I have not been hearing very stellar things about this. I've been hearing some mixed fan reviews, so I'm very eager to hear what you thought.
Do you like the first one? The original.
I don't know that I've ever seen the first one in its entirety.
So that's where I sit. So for me, I have no dog in this fight. And for me, it was fine. I'm going to be honest. It seemed to kind of hit the bar on most things live action. Stitch as a character, being a completely CG character on set, looked awesome. Just kind of give that away. I think my biggest things is going to be the most interesting criticism, Brian, is that what's his name? Zach Galifianakis is probably like the weakest part of this whole movie, ironically.
Oh wow! I didn't even know he was in this.
That's
a very surprising weak link.
Yeah, he's like he voices the creator of Stitch, the scientist who created him, and then also the does like the human, like I guess projection portrayal of him as well. Really didn't care for him too much. Kind of weird, but overall, the movie theaters here just packed to the gills. Mostly for kids. This is a kids movie. I can't sit here and be like, I didn't like it. Yeah, I was bored, but I knew it's not for me. I don't care about the first one, but like overall, I was like, yeah, pretty confident movie. I think it's going to make a lot of money at the box office, but overall, I just would say if you're a huge Lilo and Stitch fan, you may enjoy it. If you're not, you may not enjoy it. It's just kind of one of those kind of roll the dice. I'm going to be completely honest with all this. But Brian, you've don't spoil anything, but you just recently finished Andor. I know we've been talking about it in other channels, X and Fortnite, but like if you wanted to give kind of people a rundown of what you're kind of been doing.
Sure. I had held off on jumping in. I had seen the first season of Andor, loved it. Really thought the first half of season 1 took some time to get going, but that the payoff was there. This season 2, we have this different distribution model. We're getting 3 episodes, and then we're skipping a year, and then we're getting 3 more episodes. And I felt like the first half of season 2 was very hard to get invested in, and then the second half of it is pretty much some of the best Star Wars stuff I've seen. So it definitely paid off. But really interesting. A lot of character names to put in your head, a lot of character dynamics to keep in your head for what seems like a lot of screen time. But I'd highly recommend it.
So I one of the complaints I have, I don't think this this season kind of fixed it, and I've not finished the season yet. We're still in the middle of watching it. Like you mentioned, it's 12 hours of show to watch, right? 4 mini movies. Did they add more aliens or Muppets aliens in, or is it still mostly humans throughout the whole thing?
And it is, no, it's pretty human.
Okay, not that that's a bad thing. It doesn't mean anything bad at the end of the day. I was just more curious because I was like, the first season and this, like, I mean, they're probably good because they are a little grounded. But one of the cool things about Star Wars has always been the creature designs, um, which has been pretty fun to kind of see over the years. So I'm just
Yeah,
curious, how much Max Rebo did we get in this one? Did we have the Max Rebo prequel story yet?
terribly, like criminally little Max Rebo in this series, if I have to make one complaint. But I feel like the environments are really interesting in Andor, and it's like maybe that human side of things is why, because maybe these scenarios are more designed for dialogue than cool combat locations. But to me, it reminds me of the original trilogy, where it's like things look dirty on these planets, and to me, that's a fun part of Star Wars. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know. I know they built a lot of sets and just kind of stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I know you've been talking about it. I figured I'd let you have your little soapbox for a little bit and push people to Andor season 2 if you wanted to along the way.
Yeah, if you're on the fence, try to get through it.
Yeah,
it'll be worth it.
Just fall on the other side. A lot of people talk about it. It's hard. It's like this is going to be one of those shows. I feel like The Wire, where everyone's going to be talking about it, and you're gonna you're just gonna be like telling people like at like holidays, like you should really watch Andor. It's great, and they're like, why? Why is it great? And it's gonna be hard to explain why it's great sometimes because you're like, well, it's Star Wars, but like the stakes are high and the story's really good, and it kind of does this, but it's a lot of people. You say, have you seen Rogue One? Yeah, I like Rogue One. Well, this shows how you get to Rogue One.
Yes. There's even some movie actors from Rogue One making their appearances too. I won't spoil that, but that made for some fun cameos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And we've talked about it on the show before. Orson Krennic, played by
yes,
I can't think of his name, but he did a really good job as a Skrull in Captain Marvel and Secret Invasion, despite being Ben Mendelsohn. He got really kind of the short end of the stick on Secret Invasion, but I think he's a good actor. That's really good stuff. So, Australia's own Ben Mendelsohn. Let's jump into this. Let's get into a mostly Marvel heavy episode through no fault of our own. But the first one we're actually get is a new image from Peacemaker season 2. Revealing Michael Rooker's new character he's playing, Red Saint Wild, carrying what is arguably the most comedically large gun I've ever seen in a live action show. If you could take a look at it.
Yeah, clicking on the image you had sent me. There's a comment below that's like, "This is the gun you use to hunt Darkseid," and I think that's a phenomenal comment on the weapon. Because I don't know how Michael Rooker is even carrying that gun.
Yeah, it is huge. It is like something you see in Looney Tunes, right? Like Elmer Fudd, like when like Elmer and Bugs are chasing each other back and forth across the scene with like increasingly larger weapons. Like this is one of those guns.
Yeah. That's a great That's a great way to give the audience a visual of what this looks like.
Absolutely, and the other part of this is such a clashing image because it's Michael Rooker, as friend of James Gunn, a lot of his shows, wearing a kind of a wide goatee. He's got his gray hair in ponytails, dressed in Native American feathers and other garb, and then just like a regular like maybe Carhartt jacket around it. And a bowler hat. A bowler, is that, or a derby hat? What are these called? Like,
oh yeah, sure. I can't confirm. But some sort of old-fashioned hat, full brim.
Yeah, this is given a lot of energies all at once here. It's like so much energy. I can't even put my finger on it. But obviously, this is not the Michael Rooker from the Suicide Squad movie James Gunn did. This is obviously a different version, different character. But I think the part that's going to rile people up the most, Mike, not this image, not the size of his gun or the mixed match of wear, is that he's an eagle hunter and he's hunting. He has a mission to kill Eagly. like the least offensive character in all of Peacemaker.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Probably the fan favorite.
yeah. So it's just interesting. It's not interesting. This is a fun reveal. At least it's not, some we've seen some other images that kind of reveal like a spiritual portion of this. We've also seen in the last trailer there's the quantum pocket room or whatever it is, like, where his dad stored all the suits and helmets in season one. So we are like, oh, is this a different variation of his character in Suicide Squad? It looks to be a brand new character. And the name Red Saint Wild, I couldn't find any, um information other than like this is it. Like this is like the first time this character has been revealed in DC, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
the name was a new one to me.
yeah, maybe not. Maybe there is a little bit more of a stuff here. July 10th, 2024. Maybe there is I'm looking up here a comic book news, but I can't tell. I can't tell if this is a new character. I've never heard of him. But obviously he better not kill Eagly, Brian. Like that is the important part here. Like the bird has to live. He's essentially the dog of the show, right?
Yep.
But
I don't know how you have a Peacemaker without Eagly.
Right, exactly. Like I said, the least asshole character in the whole show. It's pretty interesting. But we got that link in here so you can check that out and take a look at that and just see how goofy it is. If you guys think if you see anything else about this and have any comments, do tag us, shoot us a message, because this is absolutely hilarious. Moving on to another offensive character, Madam Web, Brian. Another movie that was last year. I literally, so a fun fact, people who may or not know, I had a remote job last year through most of this year, and we went and saw Madam Web in movie theaters around Valentine's Day last year, 2024. I still have the tickets in my car because I haven't driven my car enough for Madam Web. So my wife pointed that out to me about 4 days ago, and I'm like, well, I guess you're right. But in a wild turn of events, unused popcorn bucket designs for Madam Web have made their way online. Photos of these. And while these would be getting a very, very low rating on our popcorn bucket rating scale here at Superhero Slate, these kind of Daily Bugle newsprints reveal a lot of MCU characters and events throughout the day. Have you had a chance to look at this yet? Dive in?
Yeah, the cup specifically has a quote about "Is the Green Goblin an alien?" as like a headline. Sort of, is Batboy real type National Enquirer strikes me kind of headline, and that kind of made my jaw drop because it was not something I was expecting to see on this, and then I started digging in. There's a lot of Marvel references here, but I thought that was a pretty bold one.
Yeah, the Stark Industries underpaid worker scandal, insider story, Drax opening up about something, men's emotional well-being. Yeah, Thanos cult refutes claims of expansionist ideology. Let's see here. Something, could it be President Carol Danvers something or other? Like they have literally have kind of gone like really pull. I am Groot's new something. Like they've really pulled a lot of interesting characters out of not just Sony's world. This is all Marvel really. Like does it say Hulk steroid shock experts tell all? One of those things. Doc Ock opens in white. Yeah. So but they're pulling some MC, some Spider-Man stuff, but like mostly like just regular. Like there's the picture of Drax. It's a very badly photoshopped Drax in a suit photo on this. But like this is absolutely wild that they got this far with merchandise, even in a prototype thing, to pull MCU stuff on here.
I was definitely thinking the same thing when you were bringing up 2024. That kind of made it dawn on me. Well, that kind of made me wonder: is the incredible quality of popcorn buckets from 2024 the reason they felt they had to shelve this bucket?
Yeah.
Because I would think this would have been like a must-have and a fun collectible any other year. But I start thinking about Wolverine and Deadpool and Dune 2, and there were some exciting popcorn buckets last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we would have heard about this one.
Yeah, this would have been probably one of those, like, this is the stupidest Photoshop thing I've ever seen, is probably what we would have said. At the end of the day, it's just, it's really weird. And there are Madam Web and the other, I think two of the three girls are on here. From them, I don't see Sydney Sweeney yet in any of these photos. Obviously, probably the only other actress I would be able to pull out of this list. But yeah, this is kind of disappointing. And the more it kind of came out about this, the more that this website said this is originally Madam Web had Tom Holland's Spider-Man at the start of the movie, and that would be the baby Peter that Madam Web is trying to save throughout the movie from, like, the early 2000s, when she's trying to open her can of Pepsi for most of the early film. And then obviously the right decision here. Marvel didn't want any MCU connections, and they canned that idea in these popcorn buckets pretty quickly. But the fact there are several prototypes here, that's some energy. That's a little bit of work. It's low effort work, right? These aren't contraptionally like cool. They're just buckets with stuff on them and drink cup stuff on them. But it's interesting to see it.
Yeah, it is at least a bucket and a cup combo, though.
Yeah, I would say this would be something I would want to be, like, historically, like, I want to have this as a piece of history, if I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
Like this is what. Thankfully, the bullet we dodged here are these Madam Web being set in the MCU proper. So good call on their behalf. Moving on
Agreed.
moving on to Fantastic Four First Steps. Apparently, there's an NBA Finals game going on, conference tournament. And I'm not very big into sports. But a first clip here, and I've seen another one since, and I haven't linked it in here because I think there's going to be a bigger teaser tonight during the game, is that it shows Johnny Storm, Susan Storm / Richards, and Reed Richards in an elevator trying to get up so they can make the tip off to Game 4. Reed's spouting some stats. Johnny's getting a little hot-headed, impatient, and Sue's just being the voice of reason throughout. Very, very fun banter. Very, poignant. They didn't have Ben Grimm. They have him off screen talking about making dinner. The new one has him eating the soup or like tasting it. I'm like, oh, they're not gonna re-render the thing for commercials. They're just gonna use what footage they already have to do this. But we always talk about the Super Bowl being big for trailers and promotions, but there are a lot of NBA fans watching this, and probably a good introduction to the Fantastic Four for them. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I also not a huge NBA follower myself, so I had seen this clip, but I was not. I am not able to confirm anything regarding the game tonight. But I thought it was a really fun clip. I think Reed and Johnny's banter is really good. It really feels like kind of family member cousins bantering at one another. So I don't know. There's a lot riding on this movie, but I like what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I'll link the other one in here. I've got to, we try not to link X/Twitter in here. But this is going to be on Twitter temporarily while we find that clip. But this one, the second one shows them kind of getting into like their big, like 1970s, like what's it called? Like one of those rooms where you step down into like the seating.
Sure, the recessed seating.
Yeah, like I don't know. And like one of the old, wooden TV frames. They're all wearing their Fantastic Four suits. It's just fun to see them kind of have like other interactions other than like the emotionally, world's ending trailer that we've seen a couple times. I think this says apparently a new look at the Fantastic Four was expected to air during Game 4, the NBA Western Conference Finals night. So it's a Western Conference. I'm going to put that in here because I don't want people to be mad at me for saying it's the finals. But yeah, I think maybe next week we'll be able to talk about the rest of the clip so far. But knowing that we are at the end of May, June is kicking off next week, and then around that's July with Jurassic Park, Superman, and Fantastic Four. It's gonna be good. Movies are back, Brian. We're back to the movies this year. But one
super summer.
That's right. I wanted to watch Mission Impossible this weekend, the new one, the Final Reckoning. But I might have to wait. Maybe that'll be my first June movie. Getting in to see that. Watching Tom Cruise run, the short little guy, just run as fast as he can. Bumping into the biggest news of the week. This is so big, like I didn't believe it because it happened at like an evening here on the East Coast. Came through is that Marvel/Disney have delayed their upcoming Avengers movies by over 6 months. So Avengers Doomsday, Brian, is no longer releasing next May. It is releasing next December 18th, 2026. A huge step back. But as an asterisk, this is the same window that Spider-Man Far From Home released in, and that neared about, I think, like 1.9 something billion in revenue. All the Avatar movies released in December. I'm not worried about the release window, and so I'm actually kind of excited. And they kind of said this, vaguely. It's like they need more time to get this movie right. I think if they're going to make a big swing with this many actors, this many characters, this much story, they should probably take their time, right? 10 calendar years fine with me. Any big did your gut fall away, Brian? Did you gasp out loud?
I definitely had a similar reaction to you in terms of I thought this was fake when I first saw it, or rather, I didn't trust the social media sources when I was seeing this at first. So I had to trace it back to more official-looking announcements. I am saddened it's being delayed, but I'm in the same boat as you in terms of I want this one to be good, and if they need to take their time on it, I'm way more willing to wait on that. I think Thunderbolts showed they're moving in the right directions again. If they can knock it out of the park with Fantastic Four, I think fans will be more than willing to wait for a quality Avengers movie.
Yeah. And this is interesting because we'll talk about this more as we kind of go through this. With Doomsday being released in December of 2018, Fantastic Four will be the last movie this year in July. The next movie will be the following July with Spider-Man, and then another several months to Doomsday. So they actually, we'll talk about, they removed the February movie from next year, which obviously they weren't going to hit. They're not making anything. So no, actually they removed the November movie from next year in the February. So the only movies from Marvel next year are technically Spider-Man, which is Sony, and then Avengers. So I think we're going to be getting, I wouldn't say a drought, but I do think when they said, hey, we're going to make these event movies again, they are literally maybe not starving us, but really pulling back on the content we're getting for a little bit.
They're letting the hunger pains build up.
Yeah. I think, it worked for Deadpool and Wolverine last year, right? It was the only Marvel movie in 2024. It was, I don't think it's the strongest plot-wise at all. I think we wanted something so bad that anything would have been good at that point. It was funny. It's got some great moments, but, plot-wise, it's not the strongest movie in the world. But it was still, fun to watch. A really good time, full of references. And I hope they take this extra time to also, not push the VFX artists. Maybe they need more time to polish the things, get all the cast together, film some stuff. There was a set video earlier this week, and I hate going over the set videos, but apparently they're done setting up the X-Mansion scene in England right now. That account went offline or was private for a bit, so I don't even know if maybe they got in trouble for flying drones over the the sets and Marvel, because
Sure,
I feel Disney would be upset with that at the end of the day.
sure.
But
That I hadn't heard about that. That's very exciting to hear, but I could definitely see Disney wanting to crack down on that.
yeah, I don't know.
If they're going
Again,
to keep us customers.
a lot of this is in England, like I said, so I don't know what the drone usage rights are over there. I don't know how that kind of works. I'm gonna share you. I don't know if you have your iMessages pulled up, Brian, while we're talking. But I'm going to
Sure.
send you the photo of it just so you can see, because I know you haven't talked about it. So this is supposedly the X-Mansion scenes that they're going to be filming from.
Oh
And
wow.
one of the interesting parts about this is, and we hadn't talked about this on the show, is that there's on the upper left-hand side, it looks like the stairways to the Xavier School for Gifted, right? The
Yes.
bottom right looks more like a modern kind of walkout kind of thing.
Sure.
What if this is the what's that called? Danger room. Like
Okay.
that, the entrance to the right
Oh,
is the danger room, and the left, and they're like, oh, we're fighting sentinels on our property as
on the
practice
front lawn.
in case
Sure.
they show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's an interesting theory because the door on the door on the danger room door you mentioned looks very out of place. Uh,
yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It
Also
doesn't
the
fit in.
fountain.
But it also looks like it's like nothing landed on it. Like it looks like it's part of the scenery, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can see this being like a physical danger room, which would be cool to see like a real set danger room when they're not doing like oh, here's the CG danger room. And if they wanted to say, kind of like do X-Men 97 introduction, like how the show started off, they were like, hey, they're in a Blackbird, they fall down and fight Sentinels. This is how you're introduced to their powers. You're gonna get familiar with them really fast. This is a way to do it in live action as well. So
Sure.
uh, yeah, hopefully we kind of get more of this, but that website was that Twitter X account, whatever, was taken private, so I snagged that before we lost it. Moving into our other link here, though, we have a link of the cast of the announced cast of Doomsday. They are currently filming, having dinner together in England, and in the back, I believe left and right, we get to see the actress who plays Namora and Attuma from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So we're not just getting Namor back. We knew Tenoch Huerta was coming back, but also we are getting the return of his essentially right and left hands in the kingdom, Namora and Attuma along the way.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Anthony Mackie, is he rumored
Yeah.
to be in this as well?
Oh yeah, he was part of the seats, the reveal, a couple
Okay.
month or two back. And Letitia Wright, who is Black Panther, is currently Shuri Black Panther is here as well. So they are out. They're all having a good time, whining and dining each other in England. I mean, I wish I was there and I could just run into these groups of actors. Simu Liu was there, a bunch of other people, but the biggest things, the unannounced actors were Namora and Attuma. And if they're filming with them currently, that means they're on set, they're there to be filmed. What scenes are we not seeing filmed right now, Brian? Like obviously if this is the X-Mansion scenes, we've not seen that yet. Like what scenes with Nomura and Attuma are they doing like in an actual studio set? So
Sure.
um so
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested. I'm interested in that to see because again, say what you will about Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It was a movie that came out A during a pandemic, but B also lost like the biggest
Yeah.
actor, and like it's a cathartic
Mhm.
a movie about grieving, right? It's not necessarily an action movie. It's a movie about grieving, but also trying to build the MCU forward just a little bit.
Yeah, it kind
Um,
of makes me wonder if we're going to see Atlantis following the Wakanda path into publicly revealing themselves. This is some sort of United Nations kind of
like a
scene they're trying to build or not.
consortium, yeah, or also like if the world is coming under incursions, they may need to bring the water power with them, right? We
Sure.
never really, in DC, it's the equivalent of Aquaman. We never really got to see. I mean, I think was it Justice League? We got to see a little bit of the Aquaman world with what's her name
Yeah.
pop up, but like it could be very similar for this since it's similar roles along the way. And then the last bit of rumors for Avengers Doomsday, and this has come several times, very, very, highly scoopers have said this, people who write sometimes, that they are looking to cast the MCU version of Ghost Rider for Doomsday to be in Doomsday next year in December.
Wild.
And this is
Huge.
not, yeah, right. And it's not Nicolas Cage, and it's not I can't think of the guy's name from Agents of Shield. But the rumor, and this has been going on for years, because Ryan Gosling said he wanted to be Ghost Rider. Kevin Feige said we'd love to have him as Ghost Rider. Maybe they get Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider.
That's
John,
a wild casting. Nothing against him, just he's a big, expensive name. So I would love to see his attempt at Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is one of those fun, hugely powerful characters that the idea that the Lewis Pullman Sentry is going to be in this movie and Ghost Rider, there's a lot of comic book power in this movie.
Yeah, and Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. Like when I think of Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider, I go back to like the movie Drive, which is now like 14 years old. It's him with the gloves on and the serious faces, driving motorcycles around. But like, I cannot stress this enough. If no one has watched Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, the second Nicolas Cage movie from the directors of Crank and Crank 2, you should absolutely watch this batshit crazy comic book film. Because this is the one where like it's the trailer is like him pissing fire. Like, remember like when he was doing that? Like he turns a big earth digging machine into his Ghost Rider car. And if you go watch, and if you watch the behind the scenes, like this Ghost Rider is like he's a little unhinged. Like in the first one it's more like a story. This one he kind of ticks and like kind of feels like maybe like a zombie demon kind of thing, like very like unsettling. Nicolas Cage did that with paint on his face, and then they CGI'd over him with those movements. So,
wow,
it is wild to think of that. And I think Ghost Rider is he comes and goes, right? He's like a Blade, obviously, right? Fighting the supernatural stuff. A lot of history, a lot of you have to deal a lot with the supernatural, spiritual, possibly maybe even mystical eras here. But I would love to see, like you said, a Ghost Rider in the MCU would be really cool. Even if it's from like another universe, maybe that's what it's, a multiversal Ghost Rider.
Sure. Yeah.
And then they put him in Midnight Suns later.
That'd be great too.
Yeah. So, but anyways, long story short, December 8th, 2026 is your new Avengers Doomsday date. I've already updated these on superheroslate.com. Click upcoming releases at the top of the show. I've already updated the calendar, so everyone is good to go. No ads, no pop-ups, nothing. We don't want your email address. Don't give it to us. Please keep it to yourself. But always check out that whenever we get news, we updated it. On the flip coin, Brian, Avengers Secret Wars is coming out no longer May 2027, but December 17th, 2027. So not only did Doomsday, which is currently in production, get pushed back to December, they also went ahead and said, you know what, we need more time for Secret Wars as well. No need to do one in December, one in May. We're going to go ahead and just push it back a year. So now we're 2 Decembers, 2 Christmases, back to back. It's going to be the best Christmas present ever. Brian, we're going to get so much goodies for Christmas that year. Can you imagine, like, when people say, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, anything Avengers, give me all the Sentry action figures. They're going to have them. They're actually going to have Sentry action figures. I want things I want the Incursion playset. Yep, we can get an Incursion playset along the way. So I'm very, very excited for this. And as people may or not know this, well, they know for me, I read the New Avengers, Infinity, Secret Wars comic books. I collected all the individual issues when they came out. Brian did the same with me. We were literally, I think every Wednesday, we were talking about all of these books for 4 or 5 years or so. It got us into Fantastic Four, written by Jonathan Hickman. Secret Warriors is another Jonathan Hickman, Brian Bendis thing, which covers some of the stuff which was imported into Agents of Shield, which was really cool. To me, to have Brian here to talk about Doomsday, Secret Wars, all the incursions that we read about and learned about through these comic books is really, really exciting. And I was going to tell you, Brian, and maybe you can explain to people, I'm really hoping, I know we're not going to get it, but I would love to see the Infinity event, at least the part where they're fighting the not the World Breakers. What are the aliens called that are coming to?
Oh, the Builders.
The Builders, yeah, these Builders who like control the multiverse, and they're going to come destroy Earth. So there is no incursion. I would love to see the moment where Thor throws his hammer around the sun through a builder, like through somebody, even if it's not the Builders, like in Secret Wars or Doomsday, he needs to throw his hammer around the sun and pull it back so hard it blows through the body of some villain in this movie.
Yeah,
what do you think?
That's got to be a top 5 comic book moments. They're doing like a royal or like a ceasefire meeting, and Thor is armed and has to remove Mjolnir, and he just flings it up into the air as hard as he can, and they mistakenly think he's unarmed, and such a cool reveal. The artwork's disgusting in all the right ways, and I would love to see that get to get brought into there. Hickman is great at making very cinematic looking moments.
Oh, absolutely, and a lot of people, may or may not know, a lot of his stuff is adapted. It's because it's so cinematic. It's adapted to almost everything, right? Like the Black Order was created by Jonathan Hickman in this event, the Infinity event. And that was pulled in the other Avengers movies, and now we're the next almost 10 years later doing more Avengers movies with his stuff. The Council of Reeds, which has been brought into a Council of Rick and Morty, like he's done that kind of along the way. So it's fun to see his stuff come out. In Secret Wars, where they literally canceled every comic book you were reading and came out with mini issues, small 6 to 8 issue series that were set on Battle World, was really cool, and I can't wait to see kind of which ones they pull from that, because there's the Hulk planets. It's a Planet Hulk, I think is what the series was called, and we've seen the Hulk concept art. So really, really excited for these movies, and even though they're farther away, we always say the farther or the more stuff they keep announcing, the longer this podcast is getting renewed for. So we've been picked up to at least December 2027, if not longer.
Yes.
Moving on to go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. I'm thrilled that both of these are coming out in December, and that they're sort of starting a little rhythm with that. I think the Force Awakens Star Wars, to me, that was having a December release. Seeing new toys and products being made for Christmas about this kicking off this new Star Wars trilogy. To me, it was a very exciting time as a fan, and I can't help but think of that, seeing Marvel set up these 2 huge Avengers movies with December releases.
I will always remember Lord of the Rings being December releases.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure all 3 of them were December, right? I'm going to pull this up. Release date, because this is something we watch. Yeah, December 19th, 2001. So every December for 3 years, we got Lord of the Rings movies. So to me, yes, it was cold. Yes, it was Christmas. But by God, we were there in the theaters, half hour away from the closest place we lived. People say, I'd say half hour. People are like, oh, that's not very far in the city. We didn't live in the city. We were a county and a half over. At 30 minutes. So it's a little bit different watching those movies in December. And I remember like when they used to do like the molded mugs you could get at Burger King, the cups that were like they had Lord of the Rings. I got rid of mine, and I hate that. I wish I gave it to somebody who respected it. I didn't throw them away. So that was really cool. But like I miss those. I miss the Pokemon gold coins from Burger King when Pokemon had all the cool merch at restaurants. You sent me something about was it Star Wars at Taco Bell the other day?
Yeah.
yes, sure, it is all, merchandise, as I said, in Spaceballs. But by God, some of the coolest stuff was like the little toys, right? It's not the big statues, it's not the, the expensive busts and things like that, but it was like the little things that are really cool. And I wish, we a year ago before Captain America 4 came out, they had all those Captain America toys in McDonald's a year ago before the movie came out. I wish they would have done that with Thunderbolts, because I would kill for a Sentry thing from McDonald's. The only other Sentry fan I know other than myself is Brian, by the way. So people who may or not know that. So yeah, absolutely cool to get this stuff in December, and I can't wait to see what they bring with it. Now moving on though, just housekeeping. The February 13th, 2026 release date for an untitled Marvel movie has been removed. Right now, Spider-Man doesn't count. The only other MCU release date after Fantastic Four that is not the Avengers movies is July 23rd, 2027. That could be anything. And I have two movies I would like to see, but I have a third maybe that it could be. I'm gonna tell you what the two I think it could be in the third, Brian. And you kind of give me like an up and down, a yes, no, maybe. So the first one I think is Doctor Strange 3.
Okay.
Like, you got to have Doctor Strange in the middle of these Marvel Avengers movies, right? Like the sheriff of Battleworld, the multiverse incursion master, that itself. It would be great. This gives us 2 years. They can announce it this July and have it made by the time July 27 comes around. I think that would be cake. Thor 5 is probably a likely one as well. Chris Hemsworth has recently said he wants to bring the director for Extraction movies with him. Totally understand that.
Okay.
So he could be working on something like that, kind of along the way. That's it. The third one that I think it could be a big asterisk here is Black Panther 3, and I only say that because we've heard a lot. Denzel Washington was talking about Black Panther 3. Ryan Coogler is out. He's got Sinners done. Black Panther, or not Black Panther, Ironheart's coming out this year. He's got Eyes of Wakanda coming out this year. The stuff he EP'd for Marvel.
Ooh,
I think they could fast track some of his stuff to get done by 2027, and kind of set us up for that. The other wild card would be a Shang-Chi 2, Wreckage of Time, as we've been teased before. Okay. But I don't know. Is there any Marvel movie, new character, old character you could think of that would need to be introduced for Secret Wars, like a main character?
Wow. Doctor Strange jumps out at me as being like, if I think of the comic book version of Secret Wars, it's like there's a lot of ground. If they want to go to try to do that, bring that to life, there's a lot of groundwork that Stephen Strange is going to have to cover at some point. But where it's like that jumps out at me. We've heard the word incursion in Multiverse of Madness. We've got Clea working with him in the post-credit scene, so that jumps out at me as having a lot of potential for for plot, making that something that is important to get done. I definitely feel like Black Panther 3 sounds like a good choice as well with the Ryan Coogler heat right now. I definitely forgot about Eyes of Wakanda, but I've been seeing a lot of Ironheart advertisements, and his name is front and center on the top of that, which I think is great. So I don't know what that would be, but that really intrigues me. Geez, though, trying to think, I really can't think of somebody who they could add that. I mean, unless they were doing something like Nova pops into my head as somebody that they could do a Nova movie that doesn't require any. The whole thing could take place in space, and then boom, Nova's available. Yeah. But it would it's kind of Captain Marvel again. I don't know that they would need to do that.
Yeah, and I think I think the phase after Doomsday Secret Wars is like it's going to be split between X-Men and the Annihilation wave. Right? We've been teased about Annihilation,
Oh,
Nova,
okay.
Silver
Yeah.
Surfer, very cosmic. Posted now, plans change, things change. No one's ever announced anything, so it's not like they're canceling it. If it's never been announced, they never cancel it, right? That's the rule here. But yeah, I don't think they'd be too cosmic, but it's too soon for a Fantastic Four 2, right? I don't know if they could pull out two of those, or even if they've set themselves up to be ready for that. But I think it's going to have to be someone who can do something and tie into Doomsday Secret Wars without too much lift, like you said, right? Someone who makes sense rather than, hey, let's do an Ant-Man 4. No one's clamoring for an Ant-Man 4. I'm sure Paul Rudd will be back in those movies. I think he might even been announced, but like they're not clamoring for that kind of along the way. So we'll keep you guys posted as it comes up. The other thing is there was a November 6th, 2026 and a November 5th, 2027 Marvel movies. Those have now been changed to untitled Disney movies. So Disney did not give up the spots, but we will not be getting Marvel movies in November and December of those years as well. So that was the biggest news of this week. And we got more news things to cover, but I think that's wild because it's going to tie into our next point, Brian, and that is going to be that Spider-Man Brand New Day is at this moment in time is still releasing summer of 2026, despite allegedly possibly being set on a Battle World style plan. So we don't know the facts. It could be rumors, but the scoopers have said Brand New Day should not be affected by Doomsday delay story-wise because regardless what happens with whether or not Spider-Man shows up in Doomsday, who he was not announced for, the overall story of Brand New Day won't be impacted because they reached a common ground that allowed them to push the story forward while still executing something new and fresh for Spider-Man that wouldn't have been repetitive from a previous installment. So that is the biggest corporate speak for saying we got a thing that doesn't require any other movies release order in any way. This just happened to be July is Spider-Man month, right? Kind of along the way.
Yeah, that is C-level executives saying, everybody calm down. Because it sounds like they have a plan for this.
Yeah, and I think if we do get a change, it'll be announced at, I think, San Diego Comic-Con, but they're going to start filming it later this year. They'll be filming this very soon. Again, we've already got, a Sadie Sink, and this is possibly Mayday Parker. There was Liza something, I forget her name, but possibly people like, oh, maybe it's Miles's mom being introduced. It's an older lady, that ethnicity. There's a lot of things they could be doing in here, but it's the first Spider-Man of a new trilogy. So they got to lay the groundwork kind of going forward, which is cool.
This is one of those series where it just doesn't sound right to think that it's been almost 5 years since the last Spider-Man movie. That just, I don't know, that feels wrong. I've watched Infinity War and Endgame a lot, apparently, to have kept Tom Holland as Spider-Man present in my memory. But I'm very excited for this, and with how Far From Home came out immediately after, what was that, Endgame?
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot of, we have to hide parts of the, advertising, and putting this in front of Doomsday kind of frees up any of that, makes it feel like more of a, I don't know, puts the spotlight back on Spider-Man, which I think is where it should be.
Yeah, he's not carrying the weight of two Avengers movies around him, right? Like he can do whatever he wants. Maybe those actions tie into Doomsday, maybe not. Again, Tom Holland was not on the chairs announced yet for Doomsday, but he probably will be. He's currently filming that Christopher Nolan movie, the Odyssey with Matt Damon. So when that's done, they'll move on to this. So hopefully we get some more news at Comic-Con. The rumor as of today, though, is that Mark Ruffalo will have a substantial part in the movie, and I quote, more than a cameo, which is
that's great to hear.
Yeah, I would love to see if it's him, Mark Ruffalo. Is he Hulk? Is it Smart Hulk? What's gonna be in this? Right, like I'd be interested to kind of see because I don't think have we seen Hulk and Spider-Man fight each other yet? I don't think so.
Oh wow, I don't know. I don't think so.
It'd be interesting to see.
And Yeah, they're infamous friends in the comic books. Uh, so that's kind of a smart thing to throw in here, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's always like it's like the other half of the science bros, right? Like you had Tony Stark for the first one, Mark Ruffalo in this one.
Good point.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
is it one of those things where everybody forgot Spider-Man except maybe the Hulk? Because the Hulk is technically
Sure.
exists on a different level or however they work. It is crazy, but that kind of ties into the last rumor here for Spider-Man: Brand New Day is that it will have one of the MCU's biggest, if not the biggest, stunt sequences for this movie. And they say it's going to take like a month to film the stunt sequence, and I'm like, I can't even imagine what that would be. Is it Hulk related? Is it who are the villains? We've had rumors it's the Scorpion returning and a couple others. I don't know what this is, and this is like a wild kind of like a tease, like, hey, we're gonna have the biggest stunt sequence ever. And I'm like, get to filming this thing because I want to see what it looks like on set. Give me the drone guy. Give me the drone guy out here
Yeah.
along the way for that. But yeah, Brand New Day again. Fun title. It actually is like the
Yeah.
first title that relates to the comic books. Got the comic book style font as we talked about when they announced it. Again, things can change; they can update it, but really, really excited for Spider-Man to kick off his new trilogy, and hopefully we don't have to wait forever between those in the MCU. Next bit of news, we're gonna move to the last two bits here. Number one, X-Men. Obviously, huge thing for Marvel post Avengers movies. They have a lot riding on it, and they're probably be planning a lot on it. But the rumor is that the Thunderbolts and New Avengers ties into the X-Men is the current game plan. And Brian,
Wild.
I can hear your shocked face emoji that you put into the show notes here, coming to life. And is that the idea is in Thunderbolts they were experimenting to create the perfect superhero, aka the Sentry, and that experimentation will be tied to a Mr. Sinister or Nathaniel Essex being the person who is helping provide powers and genetic things to help make this happen. Because those who are X-Men fans or watch X-Men 97, Mr. Sinister is very much into genetic tampering with mutants and powers and creating the perfect quote unquote being mutant with those. So I could absolutely see how this could tie those loose ends together about how people are get powers in the MCU. They went to Mr. Sinister. They tried to use what the power broker was it in Falcon and Winter Soldier, who was like Sharon Carter, but
Yeah.
like he is the power broker. Like he would be the guy you go to get abilities, right? Along the way.
Yeah, and this is a sentence I'd never thought I'd get to read with Sentry and Mr. Sinister in the same sentence.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting.
Well, for people who may or may not know, also Jonathan Hickman went on to do X-Men recently at Marvel, and he created the Krakoan era and Mr. Sinister. Obviously, a mutant got his own island where he was like mutating, creating copies of himself, and like dealing with copies of himself, which was a really fun aspect, right? Like seeing him be on Krakoa and kind of like have a little more leeway to do what he wanted to, which was weird.
Yeah.
But I want to see what they do with him in live action. I think they've teased him long enough at Fox. It is time that Essex Sinister makes his live action debut for us.
Yeah, the fans are ready for live action X-Men, and I think this would be a very unexpected and fun way to bring him in.
Yeah.
The Sentry's even got the what happens when you give the worst person superpowers, and Mr. Sinister is all about trying to find the right people to get power. I could definitely see where the villain's solution lets them overlook the fact that he's a villain. Kind of thing.
Well, it's the Jurassic Park scenario, right? They were too busy wondering if they could. They didn't stop to think about if they should, kind of scenario.
Sure.
So, yeah. So X-Men, probably, maybe we'll get some announcements at Comic-Con, but with the delays of Avengers, it might be 2 years away before we get some announcements on X-Men. Moving in to our last bit of news, Brian, this is a fun one. It's a little photo of Kristen Ritter on set as Jessica Jones, filming next to Charlie Cox as Daredevil in Daredevil Born Again season 2. They're probably not going to call it Born Again season 2. I feel like Born Again is just the first season title. So hopefully they give it like another subtitle, like what's Shadowland, maybe Daredevil Shadowland, or some other comic book story title that they could pull out of this. But you get to see Charlie Cox in his black, spray painted black Daredevil suit, with the black kind of coming off, and Kristen Ritter in her black leather jacket, looking just as pissed off as ever for this. I like this is
very
fun.
Exciting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, just she's great. Loved all the Jessica Jones Netflix stuff, and we've had a lot of rumors that either her or other Netflix characters might be involved in the show in the future. And it's if they had to get one, I'm glad they get Jessica Jones. I think she's got a great rapport with Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock, and I don't know. I'm excited to see where this goes.
Well, it's also fun because like her power is kind of like the opposite of his. Like he's all like, I wouldn't say truth, justice in the American way. That's Captain America, but like he's all like, gotta do this for good. But like she's just pure muscle, like pure like brute force, and like a devil may care attitude, and that's really gonna be fun to have in there because we have looking back on season 1, short of what Wilson Fisk, like his over strength. Like there's really no one with superpowers in Daredevil Born Again.
Sure.
So it's fun to have someone with abilities back. We don't have to explain them. We know who she is. Even though the Punisher, John Bernthal, came back in season 1, and he's getting his own special presentation. This is really cool. The rumor is that they're not going to stop here for season 2. Obviously, this was the only official one, but they may do smaller appearances by Luke Cage and Iron Fist throughout this. Kind of like, I would say, kind of like how maybe we had the Punisher, right? John Bernthal in the first one.
Sure. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, and obviously, no matter how you feel about Iron Fist, we can't get rid of him now. They've gone too far to say he doesn't exist, but he's maybe not the Iron Fist, right? Maybe it's just what's a Danny Rand, and he's just doing his was he doing the gun shooting when we last saw him? He was shooting guns with the powers. But either way, the fact that they're bringing back the Defenders shows me like, they get it. They know what people want. They're not just making a show to make a show with Charlie Cox, and making Daredevil make Daredevil. I do think, again, excuse me, I'm gonna pull out my dead horse real fast, Brian. I need to thwack on it for a little bit. But again, hopefully they can make New York feel like it's part of the MCU going forward, rather than just an isolated kind of a city that everything else happened in as well. That's like that was like a benefit of it being on Netflix. Hey, it's related adjacently, but we don't have to acknowledge it. But like after season 1 of Born Again and Thunderbolts, I'm like, you're gonna have to do something before Doomsday. You're gonna have to, like, we have one more season and then Doomsday. Are you gonna handle an incursion? Are you just gonna come back like, oh, well, that incursion stuff was really crazy, but now we're back at it again doing lawyer stuff in New York.
Right. But how does Wilson Fisk get us back at vigilantes when universal incursions are things that are headlines kind of thing?
And the new Avengers have been in a watchtower in New York for 14 months. Like, it's not necessarily like, hey, here it is, but like literally the biggest building in New York is the new Avengers Tower, where a team of people who have been doing it for over a year, well over a year, like I said, 14 months, exist and have powered people and people who, kind of want to can do that stuff. So it's, hopefully they can bring it together just a little more. They don't have to make it one for one. They don't have to like, it's just, I want it more than just a name drop at the end of the day, if that makes sense. But can't win them all. Anything else, Brian, before we wrap up the show? I really, really do appreciate you coming in and talking with me today on the show. Last minute, like, it was only 3 hours ago. He messaged me back and said he could join. So I appreciate this. I know everyone else appreciates, helping getting the show out and getting this news to the world. But anything else, Brian, before we jump off?
No problem. Anytime you want to talk about the Century or Secret Wars, I'm on board.
Yeah, I knew who to count.
Thanks
You were the
thanks for
first
having me.
person I thought of. I was like, I know who wants to talk about incursions and Sentry. I know the one guy. But if people want to know what you're up to, what you're doing, you do a lot of really cool stuff. You share it with me. I know you share some on your social profiles. Where can I find all them good stuff you're doing?
Sure. The easiest place, I have a link tree that is Wild Acorn is the username. I'm starting a book company for children's books, and I'll have links to Hippos for Hire is my artwork where I draw superheroes and pop culture characters as hippos. So if you're interested in that, that's at hipposforhire.com.
Yeah, awesome. And for me, if you want to find me, they can find me Instagram Valdan87 VALDAN or video games of the same name as well. Brian, do you feel comfortable? Can you walk us out of the show down here? Or you need some help?
I will do my best.
All right.
As always, please visit superheroslate.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere where you get your podcasts. And for swag, check out superheroslate.com/store.
And then how do people become super fans?
Oh,
Do you remember?
Geez. I should have studied this.
There's three things you got
I
to do.
screwed this up last time.
There's three ways. You share the show with a buddy, share the show with a friend, and we'll see you guys next week.